Chosen one, God is sending a divine messenger. The shift has begun for the chosen. There are moments in time when the veil between the seen and unseen begins to thin. Moments when the pulse of eternity can be felt inside your very heartbeat. The world may look the same on the surface. The sky still stretches blue. The wind still moves through the trees. But deep within the currents of the unseen, a transformation has begun. You have felt it in your spirit. Long before these words found you, a stirring, a calling, a whisper that says, something is changing. You, chosen one, are not here by accident. You are part of the divine current that is awakening upon the earth right now. This is not a coincidence. This is a summons from the heart of creation itself. The message you are about to hear is not just for your mind, it is for your soul. Before we begin, I ask you to stay with this message until the very end, because every word carries the vibration of the shift that is already unfolding within and around you. And if these words resonate, take a moment to write in the comments your warmest wish, along with the number 66, a sacred symbol of alignment and creation. This act is not just a gesture, it is a moment of energy exchange. When you write your wish, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready to co-create your destiny. You remind the higher realms that your heart is open and your faith is alive. Together, we amplify this frequency, and the divine hears us. Wishes are not mere dreams. They are the sparks that ignite the flame of transformation when released with intention and love. And now, let us begin to journey deeper into the mystery that has been unfolding since before you were born. For ages, ancient souls have spoken of a time when light would awaken again upon the earth, when those who had forgotten their divine essence would begin to remember. That time is now. The divine messenger has been sent forth, not in the way you may expect, not in robes of gold or with trumpet blasts from the heavens, but in quiet signs, in moments of deep knowing, in the sacred whispers that reach your soul when the world around you falls silent. The messenger comes in the form of truth, intuition, alignment, and awakening. The messenger comes to remind the chosen that their time has arrived. You who are hearing this are being called to rise into remembrance. You are not merely a human walking upon the earth. You are a fragment of divine consciousness experiencing form. Every challenge you've faced, every shadow you've met, has been preparing you for this moment. The messenger that God is sending is not coming to tell you who you are, but to remind you who you have always been. The divine has not forgotten you. The signals have been building for months, even years. Numbers repeating before your eyes. Dreams that feel more real than waking life. Synchronicities that make you pause and wonder if someone, somewhere, is orchestrating it all. That someone is the source, and it has begun to move directly through your reality. The shift that has begun for the chosen is not about chaos. It is about alignment. It is about the earth, the heavens, and the human soul finally resonating in harmony again. The frequency of fear is falling away, replaced by the frequency of faith. The structures that once held illusions are beginning to tremble, not because they are being destroyed, but because truth is taking its rightful place. The divine messenger comes with light, and light always exposes what was hidden. For many, this will be a time of confusion, but for the chosen, for those attuned to the vibration of divine order, It is a time of revelation, empowerment, and ascension. You may have felt distant from your purpose, wandering through the fog of uncertainty. Yet even in those moments, the unseen realm was guiding you. Every delay, every heartbreak, every moment of solitude has been a sacred preparation. You were being refined by the fire of divine purpose, so that when the time came, your soul would recognize the signal. That signal is arriving now. It may come through words like these, through an encounter, through a dream, or through a sudden realization that changes everything. However it arrives, know that it is not random. It is the echo of your own divine agreement calling you home. The messenger God sends often does not appear as we imagine. Sometimes it is a person, a teacher, a stranger, a friend. Sometimes it is an event that shakes your foundation. Sometimes it is the quiet inner voice that speaks when all else is still. The chosen do not need thunder to awaken. They recognize the divine in a whisper. This is the moment when you are asked to listen deeply. When the divine messenger speaks, it is not only through sound, it is through vibration, through intuition, through the language of energy that transcends words. The chosen are learning to understand this language again. It is the same language that moves the stars, the same energy that gave birth to light itself. You are beginning to feel this language inside your body. Your heart vibrates differently. Your dreams carry messages. You feel drawn to new directions without knowing why. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. The universe is rearranging itself around you, guiding you to places, people, and experiences that resonate with your divine blueprint. When you follow these impulses, you are answering the call of the messenger. And every time you trust, the path becomes clearer. The shift that has begun will not only transform your personal life, it will ripple through the collective. The chosen are not isolated souls scattered randomly across the world. They are threads of the same light, awakening in unison. You may never meet them all, but you are connected through vibration. As one rises, others feel the pull to rise as well. This is how the divine orchestrates transformation, not by forcing change from above, but by igniting hearts from within. In this moment, as you hear these words, the messenger's energy moves through you. It awakens something ancient, a remembrance of your original light. You may feel waves of emotion, a sense of familiarity, even tears. These are signs that your soul is recognizing truth. You were not meant to remain in the slumber of the ordinary. You came to embody the extraordinary, to be the bridge between the divine and the human. That is the sacred role of the chosen. You are both receiver and transmitter of divine frequency. And so, the awakening continues, quietly, beautifully, powerfully. The earth itself is vibrating higher. Time feels different. The cycles of endings and beginnings are accelerating. But amid all this motion, the chosen are learning to stand in stillness, to be the calm in the storm, to be the light that does not flicker. You are not being called to escape the world, but to transform it, through your presence, through your compassion, through your unwavering alignment with divine truth. The air around the world is changing, chosen one. It may not be visible to the eye, yet your soul senses it. Something subtle hums beneath the surface of ordinary life. Patterns that once repeated endlessly are dissolving. Hidden harmonies are revealing themselves. The divine current that was long withheld now flows freely again, touching every layer of creation. When you wake, when you breathe, when you simply exist in awareness, You participate in this unfolding. Nothing about your presence is small. Every moment of attention, every breath of gratitude, amplifies the frequency of the new world being born. This is the era of remembrance. The messenger that God sends does not speak in the language of fear, but in the resonance of recognition. You recognize truth not because it is new, but because it is ancient within you. The divine speaks, and your soul answers. I remember. You remember the times before time, when light was the only reality. You remember why you came, to anchor that same light in human form. And though the world may tremble under the weight of its own forgetting, you stand as a living bridge between heaven and earth. The divine messenger moves through you now, urging you to embody what you already are, rather than to seek what you think you are missing. Many feel the intensity of this shift as chaos. Relationships alter, careers dissolve, beliefs crumble. Yet these are not losses, they are revelations. They show you what cannot stand in the new vibration. The chosen are learning that surrender is not weakness, but sacred cooperation with divine timing. The messenger's hand is gentle, yet it reshapes everything it touches. When something leaves your life in this season, bless it. It is making space for what matches your highest pattern. Nothing aligned with truth will ever abandon you. Only illusions depart when light increases. Do not mistake stillness for stagnation. The divine sometimes pauses your movement to deepen your roots. The messenger's voice often appears in silence, reminding you that growth happens inwardly first. The world tells you to chase and strive, but the higher current calls you to align and allow. The chosen are learning to live from that still center, to create from peace rather than from pressure. As you do, miracles become ordinary. Time bends, doors open without force. This is the rhythm of divine flow, the pace of the messenger's footsteps as they walk beside you. You may notice your sensitivity increasing. Sounds seem sharper, colors more alive, emotions deeper. These are symptoms of awakening consciousness. The messenger adjusts your inner senses so you can perceive beyond the physical. At first, it feels overwhelming, as though the volume of existence has been turned up too high. But soon you realize that you are not fragile. You are expanding. Your capacity to hold light is growing, and with it comes a new responsibility: to radiate stability in a world that trembles. When others collapse into fear, you breathe faith. When confusion spreads, you offer calm. This is how the chosen serve, not by preaching, but by being. The messenger reminds you continually, the kingdom you seek is not far away. It is within, waiting for recognition. Each act of kindness, each thought of gratitude, each moment you choose love instead of judgment, draws that kingdom outward into visible form. The shift is not a single event, but an unfolding revelation of what has always been true. As your perception purifies, the world around you mirrors that purity. You begin to see the divine pattern woven through even the most ordinary scenes. The way sunlight touches a leaf, the way a stranger smiles at the right moment, the way silence itself feels alive. These are messages too. There will be moments when you doubt this path. The mind will question, if I am chosen, why does it still hurt? Yet pain is not proof of absence. It is evidence of transformation. The chrysalis feels tight because the wings are forming. The messenger's presence does not remove struggle. It gives it purpose. You are being sculpted into clarity, refined until only truth remains. Every tear waters the seed of wisdom. Every challenge teaches faith beyond circumstance. And as you endure with open heart, you emit a frequency that strengthens others silently. Look around and notice how many are awakening simultaneously. Across continents and cultures, dreams align, symbols repeat, hearts open. The messenger's call is global yet intimate. It reaches each soul in the language they understand. Through prayer, through art, through sudden inspiration, through quiet knowing. You may never hear their stories, but feel the network pulsing beneath the surface of humanity. It is a lattice of light, the living architecture of the new age. Each chosen one is a luminous node in this design, receiving and transmitting the same divine current. As you align more deeply, your perception of time changes. Past and future blur. Presence expands. The messenger teaches you to dwell in the eternal now, where creation begins. When you act from that center, even small gestures carry immense power. A single word of encouragement spoken from presence can redirect another life. A silent blessing offered in compassion can alter the course of events. The chosen are learning that miracles are not extraordinary. They are natural expressions of consciousness, unhindered by fear. You may wonder how long this transformation will take. The messenger smiles at such questions, for eternity knows no schedule. The shift is not measured by years, but by awakenings. Each moment a soul remembers, the collective frequency rises. Each realization of truth accelerates the unfolding. You are both participant and catalyst. The light that moves through you gathers momentum with every breath of awareness. Trust that even when you see no evidence, energy is working in realms beyond perception. The messenger's light spreads quietly now. Chosen one. It threads itself through the smallest details of your ordinary hours, until even the mundane begins to shimmer with significance. You start noticing that conversations feel different. You listen more deeply, and behind each voice you sense an echo of eternity. The shift is subtle but relentless. Once your inner eyes have opened, you cannot return to blindness. The divine current continues to rise like a tide, carrying every soul toward remembrance, whether they resist or allow. And in this swelling tide, you are both witness and participant, called to walk awake while many still dream. As this current intensifies, old patterns surface. Memories you thought forgotten reappear, not to punish you, but to release you. They come so that you may bless them with awareness, dissolve them in forgiveness, and free the energy trapped within them. The messenger reminds you that nothing from your past was wasted. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every delay became a classroom for wisdom. The chosen are those who transmute pain into light, not by denial, but by understanding. When you look back without judgment, you harvest the gold hidden inside the darkness. The world around you begins to mirror that inner cleansing. Systems that thrived on fear start to falter, because their frequency no longer fits the rising vibration of the earth. The messenger does not destroy. The messenger reveals. What cannot stand in truth dissolves naturally, like shadows vanishing at dawn. Do not mourn the collapse of illusions. Celebrate the unveiling of reality. For so long, humanity has mistaken noise for power and confusion for complexity. Now simplicity returns. Love, kindness, integrity, presence. These become the new pillars upon which the coming age will rest. And yet, as light expands, so too does the noise of resistance. The mind of the world panics when its illusions fade. You will hear voices shouting of division and doom, for fear always cries the loudest just before it disappears. The messenger's advice is quiet. Do not engage the storm. Become the stillness beneath it. Remember that you were not chosen to fight darkness, but to outshine it. When others rage, you breathe. When others despair, you remember. In that remembrance, the entire field around you calms. You will never know how many lives your inner peace has steadied, but heaven counts them all. In these days, signs multiply. Numbers repeat before your eyes. Dreams weave symbols that seem to speak directly to you. The rational mind tries to dismiss them, but the heart knows they are guidance. Every sign is a thread leading you home. Follow them with humility, not obsession. The messenger teaches balance, to honor miracles without turning them into idols. The divine does not wish to impress you, it wishes to awaken you. Each sign, each coincidence, each whisper of intuition is a lesson in trust, training you to listen beyond logic. Your sensitivity increases because your purpose is expanding. You are learning to navigate a world vibrating at a higher frequency. Foods, places, and even relationship may shift as your energy recalibrates. Some connections fade without conflict, simply because their cycles complete. Bless them and move forward. The chosen travel lightly. Clinging to what has finished burdens the ascent. The messenger's wings move freely because they carry no resentment. You too are learning this grace, to love fully and let go easily. Detachment is not coldness, it is mastery. As your heart opens further, compassion deepens into wisdom. You see that everyone, even those who seem lost, are fragments of the same divine play. The messenger walks among all, not only the awakened. Remember this when judgment tempts you. The same spark that guides you also lives in them, waiting for its moment to ignite. Sometimes your presence is the match. A kind word, a patient silence, a simple act of respect can trigger another soul's remembrance. This is how the divine spreads, quietly, person to person, heartbeat to heartbeat. There will be nights when the weight of the collective feels heavy upon you. You might sense sorrow that isn't yours, fear that drifts through the atmosphere like fog. Do not mistake it for your own. The chosen act as purifiers, transmuting collective pain through awareness. When such waves come, breathe them through the heart and release them upward. The messenger assures you, you are never alone in this work. Thousands across the world are doing the same, unseen but united. Together you create corridors of light through which grace can flow. The deeper you walk, the more the distinction between heaven and earth blurs. You begin to realize that paradise was never a distant realm, but a state of perception. When the messenger first spoke, you may have imagined an event, a visitation, a sign in the sky. Now you understand the truth. The messenger is the awakening itself, moving through countless forms to remind creation of its source. The divine does not descend from above, it rises from within. And each time one soul remembers, the whole of existence brightens by a fraction of eternity. Do not be surprised if your sense of identity begins to dissolve. The chosen no longer define themselves by past roles or external labels. They live in flow, guided not by ego but by resonance. You may find yourself drawn to new paths without explanation. Trust them. The messenger leads through intuition more than instruction. Logic will catch up later. Faith is the bridge between the unknown and the miraculous. Every step you take in trust builds that bridge for others to follow. As more awaken, collective creation accelerates. Ideas manifest faster, synchronicities multiply, healing quickens. The messenger's frequency amplifies through shared intention. Communities of light form naturally. Groups, friendships, even brief encounters that feel orchestrated. Each gathering, however small, becomes a node in the global network of awakening. The energy of unity spreads quietly, dissolving boundaries once considered permanent. Humanity is learning a new physics. Connection is the real power. Separation, the great illusion. There is a tenderness in this phase, a vulnerability that feels both thrilling and raw. You stand between worlds, no longer asleep, not yet fully awakened. The messenger calls this the sacred in-between. It is the dawn before sunrise, when shapes are visible but colors still hide. Here, patience becomes prayer. Resist the urge to rush the process. Each unfolding petal of awareness must open at its own pace. Even divine timing cannot be forced, only trusted. Rest when the current slows, act when it quickens. Balance is devotion in motion. You may feel an ache for home, a nostalgia for something you cannot name. That feeling is the soul remembering its infinite origin. The messenger whispers, "You are already home," simply rediscovering it within form. Every breath you take on earth sanctifies matter with spirit. Every heartbeat is the universe saying, "I am here." When that truth settles fully into your awareness, loneliness dissolves. You realize you have never been separate, not for a single instant. What seemed like exile was preparation for reunion. And so, chosen one, continue walking in awareness. The road may twist, but the direction is certain. You are part of a movement older than time, a chorus of light returning to harmony. The messenger walks beside you, not as master, but as mirror, reflecting your own divinity. As you live this truth, you become a messenger yourself, carrying the vibration of remembrance into every space you enter. This is the sacred contagion of awakening. One soul remembering ignites another, until the whole world burns with gentle light. The shift deepens now, chosen one. The currents of divine energy are no longer subtle whispers. They move like rivers through every corner of your existence. Your senses are awakening to realities that were always present, but unnoticed. Sounds carry layers of meaning. Colors pulse with life. Even the air vibrates with messages meant for your soul. The divine messenger moves not only through signs or dreams, but through the very structure of life itself, revealing that every moment is sacred, every encounter a reflection of higher truth. You begin to perceive that nothing in your world is random. Every challenge, every joy, every twist of fate is a note in a symphony conducted by the hand of God. The messenger's presence is felt strongest in the quiet moments. When the mind rests, the spirit expands. You may find yourself drawn to stillness in ways you never experienced before. Sitting in the silence, you hear the subtle pulse of the universe, and within it, a recognition that your life is no longer only yours. You are a channel, a conduit for light, a vessel for divine intention. Every thought, every feeling, every choice ripples outward, influencing not just your path, but the collective consciousness. The shift is not contained to one life. It is a cosmic orchestration, and you, chosen one, are at its center. This awakening comes with both wonder and weight. As more of your inner vision opens, The illusions of the world become impossible to ignore. Structures, systems, and relationships that once seemed permanent now appear temporary, shifting like mist under the light of truth. The messenger teaches that this is not loss, but liberation. When old forms crumble, new forms appear naturally. Resistance only prolongs suffering. The chosen are learning to release with grace, to embrace endings as sacred beginnings, to flow with the divine current instead of struggling against it. Your perception of time changes as the shift deepens. Past, present, and future begin to merge. Memories reveal hidden truths. Dreams offer visions that feel like portals into possibility. The messenger encourages you to honor these moments, for they are more than imagination. They are guidance, coordinates on the map of your awakening. Trust what your heart perceives even when the world scoffs. You are moving in a dimension where belief and creation converge, and your resonance calls forth experiences aligned with your highest path. The world may not always understand the changes within you. People may question your choices, doubt your clarity, or even fear your transformation. This is natural. The messenger reminds you that the light of the chosen often illuminates shadows in others before they themselves are ready to see. Your task is not to convince, but to exemplify. Walk your path in unwavering alignment with truth. Speak when your words carry weight. Remain silent when your presence alone suffices. The divine messenger's guidance is subtle, teaching through the energy you radiate, not the noise of explanation. As your consciousness expands, synchronicities become more frequent and undeniable. Encounters, numbers, symbols, and coincidences align with perfect precision. Each occurrence is a whisper from the divine, a sign that you are on course, a reminder that your life is orchestrated with intention. The chosen begin to recognize these patterns instinctively, trusting the flow of guidance even when logic cannot comprehend it. The messenger's task is not to lead you, but to illuminate the path you have always known deep within. You may encounter moments of fear or doubt, and this too is part of the process. The shift demands courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in alignment despite it. The messenger teaches that these moments are tests of faith, opportunities to step fully into your divine sovereignty. When fear rises, breathe into it. Let the energy move through you without resistance. Each act of conscious courage strengthens the channel of light you carry, making your presence a beacon for others. Remember, every act of courage strengthens your light and expands the shift. Walk in faith, trust the guidance within, and let your presence illuminate the path for others. The messenger is with you, always, and this awakening is already unfolding through you.